The exclamation mark or exclamation point is a punctuation mark usually used after an interjection or exclamation to indicate strong feelings or high volume, and often marks the end of a sentence. Example, a Euro watch out. A Euro similarly, a bare exclamation mark is often used in warning signs. The mark can also be used at the beginning of a word instead of at the end. For example, several computer languages use exclamation mark for logical negation. For example, A means the logical negation of A, also called not A. There are many other specialized uses of this mark, such as in mathematics where it denotes the factorial operation. History. Graphically, the exclamation mark is represented as a full stop point with a vertical line above. One theory of its origin is that it is derived from a Latin exclamation of joy. The modern graphical representation is believed to have been born in the Middle Ages. The medieval copyists used to write at the end of a sentence the Latin word io to indicate joy. The word io meant hooray. A long time, the I moved above the O, and the O became smaller, becoming a point. The exclamation mark was first introduced into English printing in the 15th century to show emphasis, and was called the sign of admiration or exclamation, or the note of admiration until the mid-17th century. Admiration referred to its Latin sense of wonderment. The exclamation mark did not have its own dedicated key on standard manual typewriters before the 1970s. Instead, one typed a period, backspaced, and typed an apostrophe. In the 1950s, secretarial dictation and typesetting manuals in America referred to the mark as bang, perhaps from comic books where "thea" appeared in dialogue balloons to represent a gun being fired, although the nickname probably emerged from letterpress printing. This bang usage is behind the titles of the Interrobang, an uncommon typographic character, and a shebang line, a feature of Unix computer systems. Slang and other names for the exclamation mark. This punctuation mark is called, in the printing world, a screamer, a gasper, a slammer, or a startler. In hacker culture, the exclamation mark is called bang, shriek, or, in the British slang known as Commonwealth hackish, pling. For example, the password communicated in the spoken phrase "your password is M0PH pling N3 is MOPH. N3. Other slang names are dembanger and shout pole. Languages. The exclamation mark is common to languages using the Latin alphabet, although usage varies slightly between languages. The exclamation mark was also adopted in languages written in other scripts, such as Greek, Russian, Arabic, Hebrew, Chinese, Korean and Japanese, but it has never been found in Hindi. American English. A sentence ending in an exclamation mark may be an exclamation, or an imperative, or may indicate astonishment. They were the footprints of a gigantic duck. Exclamation marks are occasionally placed mid-sentence with a function similar to a comma, for dramatic effect, although this usage is obsolescent. On the walk, oh, there was a frightful noise. Informally, exclamation marks may be repeated for additional emphasis, but this practice is generally considered unacceptable in formal prose. The exclamation mark is sometimes used in conjunction with the question mark. This can be in protest or astonishment. A few writers replace this with a single, non-standard punctuation mark, the interrobang, which is the combination of a question mark and an exclamation point. Again, this is informal. Overly frequent use of the exclamation mark is generally considered poor writing, for it distracts the reader and devalues the mark's significance. Cut out all those exclamation points. An exclamation point is like laughing at your own jokes. A Euro F. Scott Fitzgerald. Some authors, however, most notably Tom Wolfe and Madison Acampora, are known for unashamedly liberal use of the exclamation mark. In comic books, the very frequent use of exclamation mark is common. Euro see comics, below. For information on the use of spaces after an exclamation mark, see the discussion of spacing after a full stop. Several studies have shown that women use exclamation marks more than men do, and one study suggests that, in addition to other usage, exclamation points may also function as markers of friendly interaction, for example, by making high or good luck, seem friendlier than simply hi, or good luck. English. In British English writing and often subtitles, a symbol implies that a character has made an obviously sarcastic comment, for example ooh, a sarcasm detector. There's a really useful invention. French. In French, next to marking exclamations or indicating astonishment, the exclamation mark is also commonly used to mark orders or requests, via a space is used between the last word and the exclamation mark. German. In German, the exclamation mark has several specific uses for which English employs other forms of punctuation, in the salutation line of a letter, for which English uses a comma, lieber Hans. In this case, the first word of the following sentence begins with a capital letter. However, usage of a comma, as in English, is both acceptable and far more common. On signs, not just those warning of danger as discussed below, the exclamation mark is used to emphasize the sign's content, betreten verboten. At the end of an imperative sentence, ruf mich morgen an. Spanish. In Spanish, a sentence or clause ending in an exclamation mark must also begin with an inverted exclamation mark, ¿Estás es loco? ¿Acaso la mataste? Are you crazy? You almost killed her. For informal written online communications, however, usage of inverted question in exclamation marks has become less common. As in British English, a bracketed exclamation mark may be used to indicate irony or surprise at a statement, dice que esta noche no va a salir de fiesta. He said that he's not going to a party tonight. Such use is not matched by an inverted opening exclamation mark. Turkish. In Turkish, an exclamation mark is used after a sentence or phrase for emphasis, and is common following both commands and the addressees of such commands. For example, in Adula. A degree he defines organized ear, Illyri. Order by a tata 1/4 a Adula constitute the addressee. It is further used in parentheses. After a sentence or phrase to indicate irony or sarcasm, an okai barrier yapta plus or minus n. Phonetics. In Khoisan languages, and the International Phonetic Alphabet, the exclamation mark is used as a letter to indicate the post-alveolar click sound. In Unicode, this letter is properly coded as U+01C3C florin Latin letter retroflex click and distinguished from the common punctuation symbol U+0021. Exclamation mark to allow software to deal properly with word breaks. The exclamation point has sometimes been used as a phonetics symbol to indicate that a consonant is ejective. More commonly this is represented by an apostrophe, or a superscript glottal stop symbol. Interrobang. There is a non-Euro standard punctuation mark intended to combine the functions of a question mark and an exclamation mark in English called Interrobang, which resembles those marks superimposed over one another, but it is seldom seen outside Wikipedia articles or Unicode documentation. The sequence of or is used almost exclusively. Proper names, although exclamation marks are, as a standard, part of a complete sentence and not the spelling of individual words, they appear in many proper names, especially in commercial advertising. Prominent examples include the web service Yahoo! And Joomla, the game show Jeopardy! And the 60s musical TV show Shindig. The titles of the musicals Oklahoma, Oliver, and O. Calcutta, and the movies Airplane and Moulin Rouge also contain exclamation points. Writer Eliot S. Magan and cartoonist Scott Shaw include exclamation marks in their names. Place names. The English town of Westward Ho, named after the novel by Charles Kingsley, is the only place name in the United Kingdom that officially contains an exclamation mark. There is a town in Quebec called St. Louis du Ha, which is spelled with 2 exclamation marks. The city of Hamilton, Ohio, changed its name to Hamilton. In 1986, the city of Ostrava, Czech Republic, changed its logotype to Ostrava. In 2008. Warnings. Exclamation marks are used to emphasize a precautionary statement. On warning signs, An exclamation mark is often used to draw attention to a warning of danger, hazards, and the unexpected. These signs are common in hazardous environments or on potentially dangerous equipment. A common type of this warning is a yellow triangle with a black exclamation mark, but a white triangle with a red border is common on European road warning signs. Unicode, the mark is encoded as U+0021. Exclamation mark. Related forms are encoded, U+01C3C florin Latin letter retroflex click, U+203CA Euro 1/4 double exclamation mark, U+2048 a question exclamation mark, U+2049 a permil exclamation question mark, U+2755 a white exclamation mark ornament, U+2757 a heavy exclamation mark symbol, U+2762 a cent heavy exclamation mark ornament, U+2763 a pound heavy heart exclamation mark ornament, U+A71. DEO modifier letter raised exclamation mark, U+A71 EEO modifier letter raised inverted exclamation mark, U+A71 FEOA modifier letter low inverted exclamation mark, U+FU57I to the first, small exclamation mark, U+FFO1 I 1/4 full width exclamation mark, U+E0021 tag exclamation mark. Some scripts have their own exclamation mark, U+055CU Armenian exclamation mark, U+07F9SS to the first NKO exclamation mark, U+109FA Myanmar symbol Shan exclamation, U+1944 a Yen Limbu exclamation mark, use in various fields. Mathematics. In mathematics, the symbol represents the factorial operation. The expression n means the product of the integers from 1 to n. For example, 4 is 4a, 3a, 2a, 1 equals 24. It also can represent uniqueness. Computers. In computing, the exclamation mark corresponds to ASCII character 33. It is therefore found in Unicode at U+0021. Exclamation mark. The inverted exclamation mark is found in ISO 8859-1, 9 and 15 at position 161 and in Unicode at U+00A1 inverted exclamation mark. The name given to exclamation mark by programmers varies according to their background. In the UK the term pling was popular in the earlier days of computing, whilst in the USA the term shriek was used. It is claimed that these word usages were invented in the US and shriek is from Stanford or MIT. However, shriek for the sign is found in the Oxford English Dictionary dating from the 1860s. Several computer languages use exclamation mark for various meanings, most importantly for logical negation. For example, or equals a b means a is not equal to b, and a means the logical negation of a. In the UK, BBC Basic used pling as an indirection operator, equivalent to peek and poke of 4 bytes at once. Plings are also used in Acorn RISC OS to denote an application directory, a folder that when double-clicked executes a program file inside called run. Other files in the app folder generally contain resources the application needs to run. The app folder can be viewed as a normal folder by double-clicking with the Shift key held down. In addition, other special resource files such as boot, sprites and help also start with a pling. Early email systems also used the exclamation mark as a separator character between host names for routing information, usually referred to as bang path notation. In the IRC protocol, a user's nickname and ident are separated by an exclamation point in the host mask assigned to him or her by the server. In the geek code version 3, exclamation mark is used before a letter to denote that the geek refuses to participate in the topic at hand. In some cases, it has an alternate meaning, such as G, denoting a geek of no qualifications. D denoting not wearing any clothes, P denoting not being allowed to use Perl, and so on. They all share some negative connotations however. When computer programs display messages that alert the user, an exclamation mark may be shown alongside it to indicate that the message is important and should be read. This often happens when an error is made, or to obtain user consent for hazardous operations such as deleting data. In Unix scripting, exclamation mark is usually used after a pound in the first line of a script, the interpreter directive, to tell the OS what program to use to run the script. The is usually called a hash bang, or shebang. An exclamation mark starts history expansions in many Unix shells such as bash and tcsh, where executes the previous command and refers to all of the arguments from the previous command. In the ML programming language, exclamation mark is the operator to get the value out of a reference data structure. In the Haskell programming language, exclamation mark is used to express strictness. In the Scheme and Ruby programming languages, exclamation mark is conventionally the suffix for functions and special forms which mutate their input. In the Swift programming language, a type followed by exclamation mark denotes an implicitly unwrapped optional, an option type where the compiler does not enforce safe unwrapping. The exclamation mark operator force unwraps an option type, causing an error if it is nil. Video games: in the Metal Gear series of stealth games, a red exclamation point appears above an enemy's head with a short loud noise if the enemy sees the player. When this happens, the enemy will try to attack the player. In the Poker Copyright Mon series, an exclamation points appear above the heads of other trainers when they spot the main character's trainer. In certain versions of the game, an exclamation point also appears on the main character's head when they hook a fish on one of the game's 3 rods. In the Paper Mario series, an exclamation point appear over an enemy's heads if the enemy notices Mario, Luigi, Peach, or Bowser. In the Warcraft series, NPCs having available quests for players are represented with a yellow exclamation point floating over their heads. If the quest is repeatable, it is represented with a blue exclamation point. Flight masters, used to travel players from location to location, are represented with a green exclamation mark floating over their heads if they have not yet been discovered. In the Counter-Strike games, a green exclamation point appears above a player's head if the player uses a radio command. Internet culture: in recent Internet culture, especially where LEET is used, multiple exclamation marks may be affixed with the numeral 1 as in 111. The notation originates from a common error: when typing multiple exclamation points quickly, the typist may fail to hold the A section Shift-1 combination, which produces the exclamation mark on many keyboard layouts. This error, first used intentionally as a joke in the LEET linguistic community, is now an accepted form of exclamation in LEET and derivative dialects such as LawSpeak. Some utterances include further substitutions, for example, 111 only 11. In fandom and fanfiction, A is used to signify a defining quality in a character, usually signifying an alternative interpretation of a character from a canonical work. Examples of this would be romantic, Draco, or vampire. Harry from Harry Potter fandom. It is also used to clarify the current persona of a character with multiple identities or appearances, such as to distinguish armor. Al from human. Al in a work based on Fullmetal Alchemist. The origin of this usage is unknown, although it is hypothesized to have originated with certain Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures, for example, football player, Leonardo, rockstar, Raphael, and breakdancer, Michelangelo. Comics. Some comic books, especially superhero comics of the mid-20th century, routinely use the exclamation point instead of the period, which means the character has just realized something. Unlike when the question mark appears instead, which means the character is confused, surprised, or he does not know what is happening. This tends to lead to exaggerated speech, in line with the other hyperboles common in comic books. A portion of the motivation, however, was simply that a period might disappear in the printing process used at the time, whereas an exclamation point would likely remain recognizable even if there was a printing glitch. For a short period, Stan Lee, as editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, attempted to curb their overuse by a short-lived ban on exclamation points altogether, which led to an inadvertent lack of ending punctuation on many sentences. Comic book writer Elliot S. Magan once accidentally signed his name with an exclamation due to the habit of using them when writing comic scripts. It became his professional name from then on. Similarly, comic artist Scott Shaw has used the exclamation point after his name throughout his career. In comic books and comics in general, a large exclamation point is often used near or over a character's head to indicate surprise. A question mark can similarly be used to indicate confusion. This practice also appears in some video games. Chess. In chess notation, exclamation mark denotes a good move, denotes an excellent move, denotes a dubious move, and denotes an interesting, risky move. In some chess variants such as large board shogi variants, exclamation mark is used to record pieces capturing by stationary feeding or burning. Scrabble. In Scrabble, an exclamation mark written after a word is used to indicate its presence in the official tournament and club word list but its absence from the official Scrabble player's dictionary, usually because the word has been judged offensive. Baseball, exclamation points or asterisks can be used on scorecards to denote a great defensive play. Popular music, the band uses exclamation points as its name. In 2008, the pop-punk band Panic at the Disco dropped the exclamation point in its name. This became the most discussed topic on fan message boards around the world. In 2009, the exclamation mark was reinserted following the band's split. The band Bomb the Music Industry utilizes an exclamation mark in its name, as well as several album and song titles and promotional material. Examples include their songs, Shut Up the Punks, and the album Adults, Smart, Shithhammered, and Excited by Nothing. American musician Pink is known to use an exclamation point in her stage name as well as 3 in the subtitle of her greatest hits album, So Far, which was released in 2010. Television. The exclamation mark was the subject of a bitter argument between Elaine Benes and her boyfriend, Jake Jarmel, in the Seinfeld episode, *OE the Sniffing Accountant*. Elaine got upset with Jake for not putting an exclamation mark at the end of a message about a friend having a baby. Jake took extreme exception to the trivial criticism and broke up with Elaine, putting an exclamation mark after his parting words, *OEIA unregistered trademark I'm leaving. See also, full stop, inverted exclamation point, punctuation, terminal punctuation, references. External links, U+0021 exclamation point decode Unicode.